We don't have to go far back into our own history as a nation to see how that turns out when the court imposes radical social policy on the country. In our system of government, you reach these major changes in policy when you arrive at a point of broad social consensus. We're not there on the issue of the redefinition of marriage. Like we were in 1973, we were not on a consensus on abortion. In fact, 42 years later, abortion is still a contentious issue in this nation. It's a factor in every election from president on down. If they think, like they did in 1973, that they're going to solve this issue by forcing it on the nation, they're wrong. They're not going to force a redefinition on Americans that they will accept. They will, I believe, launch us into the most tumultuous time culturally that I think our nation has ever seen.
I see a move in America from the president down to push the marriage issue, particularly the gay marriage issue, in the direction of making it a civil rights issue. Is that happening, and what do you think will be the result of that?
Yeah, well, I think, yes, they're trying to do that. They're trying to harken back to the civil rights movement and equate this to race. And there's some huge differences here, Ken. First off, when there were laws in place that denied men and women the right to marry, marriage is a bridge between the sexes, okay? It brings two opposites together. They were wrong in creating an artificial barrier between men and women. They're not, in this case, what they're actually doing is blowing up that bridge that bring two opposites together. They're destroying the complementarity of marriage. But no, let me go to the other issue, which they say that comparing to the civil rights movement, that this was like a disenfranchised minority. Well, that was true of the African American community in the 60s and 50s. It's not true of the homosexual community that enjoys great political favor, evidenced by the president, and has a lot of financial resources. They have succeeded in 3 contests in which they were able to prevail in ballot measures in 3 states that voted for same-sex marriage. So if we were to go about this the proper way, in which a nation like ours reaches consensus, we would allow the nation to come to broad social consensus on this, if in fact it's there. They know it's not there, and that's why they're using the courts, and the president is using his policy to redefine marriage, silencing the voice of people. We hear this narrative, 37 states have same-sex marriage now. Why? Only 3 of those states actually voted for same-sex marriage. A couple had state legislatures, but the vast majority, it was unelected judges who imposed it on the people, despite the fact that they had spoken otherwise, that they preferred the natural definition of marriage. So yes, the president is trying to do this. The president has used the military to do this. The president has endangered our country. He has endangered our country and our future to advance his radical social agenda.